I don't feel as if you know me. You take up all my time. The days are long and the nights will throw you away 'cause the sun don't shine. Nobody ever matches the weather, make or break your day. Nobody... Erase that bit. Nobody ever seems to remember that life is a game we play. We live in the shadows and we had the chance and threw it away. And it's never gonna be the same, 'cause the years are falling by like the rain. It's never gonna be the same till life I know comes to my house and says, hello.
I love it.
Okay, that's as far as I can go.
No, I love it. Thank you so much, Paul.
Off,
no, that was great. That's a first.
It was easier to sing it in the car on the way down when I had the music playing in the background and no one could hear
It's difficult. I know. It's a challenge. But we break the ice and then we get the show started from
Good
there.
Stuff.
So
Let's go.
Thank you so much for opening up the show that way. And welcome to the show.
Thank you. And a big fan of this show. I try to listen when I can. Like
Absolute pleasure having you on the show.
I go down those wormholes. It's like, I should be driving to work, educating myself, listening to podcasts, listening to the news, and then music.
Yeah,
always music.
Yeah,
There's always music playing. Yeah.
But you're how young are you, man?
I like to identify as 39. My 40th should have been during the pandemic, and that never happened.
Yeah, no. My 50th happened during that fiasco as well, too. So it's just weird.
43.
Okay.
43
you're still
years young.
Yeah,
so,
you're young.
Yeah, still got some life in me, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
A few things to prove.
And you're doing amazing work, right? So I know that I've been following you for a while and seeing it. And I know you had a busy year this year. You were jet setting across the country doing some projects.
Yeah, I was out in BC a couple of times this year.
Yeah.
Part of the country, doing some timber framing, learning some timber framing, and putting it into practice on another Timber Framers Guild project out in just outside Pemberton.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a great project.
That was a great experience?
It was. It was building a community centre for the First Nations there.
Oh, wow.
The Satlium First Nation. And this will become a community centre where they'll have big ceremonial events like their powwows, and hopefully it's all going to be open by next year.
Okay, so you went there. How long were you there for?
I was there 10 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And good
the whole
group
thing
of people?
was put together. Amazing group of people.
Yeah.
A whole variety of people. There's definitely lots of long beards, Carhartts, and but a very kind of varied crowd as well. And
classic, good-looking tradespeople.
Exactly, yeah.
Providing a great service.
Stories on their face.
Of course. You read everything on their face.
It's just good to meet people, see new techniques, new tools. That can be the expensive part to these places. It's a volunteer thing.
Were they yours, or were the tools kind of nicely given?
A lot of people actually drove out that way.
Okay.
One guy actually drove up from Georgia with his tools.
Wow.
Yeah, to help out on this project. And I flew in. So I brought with me a few basic tools and my bike.
Yeah.
So I could get around.
Awesome, man.
It was a fantastic experience. Great part of the world, and beautiful scenery, beautiful job, and beautiful people.
It's actually a nice office environment. Or if you're a tradesperson.
Well, you know what? It's a great office environment because there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
There's no cell phone reception.
You
so
can
you can
focus,
get on and
you
get
can
the
work,
job done.
and you can get to know other people, and you can learn.
You can.
And you can share
and
stories.
You're always learning.
Yeah, which is great. So welcome. I want to share all the deets here. We have the English Carpenter here. Paul Collins, Paul at theenglishcarpenter.com, and his website is www.theenglishcarpenter.com, and also theenglishcarpenter.ca for the timber framing part of it. And then your phone number to reach you is 647-269-3140. And then on IG, you'll find his amazing posts at _English_Carpenter. And also you've got the YouTube channel, but you don't constantly feed it, but it's there.
It's there. I need to put more videos on it. We have it. I just need to maybe put stuff like this on. I don't record. I take a lot of photos.
I'll send you this so you have it. Everyone can share, which would be great. Because I get the sense, based on our conversations before the show even started and weeks prior, like we're going to have a really good conversation about the industry and the trade and the craft and people. And also, I'm very respectful of the business that you built, which is a solid business. So
thank you.
I want to do a quick shout out to Jason, guest contracting. I'm wearing his tee today. Unleash your voice on the Construction Life podcast community. Are you passionate about the world of construction, trades, and all things building related? The Construction Life podcast wants to hear from you. Leave us a review, share your thoughts, insights, and experiences on your favorite podcast channel. Your review fuels our mission to create engaging and informative content for the construction community. Your feedback is the mortar that holds our podcast together. So share your thoughts, rate us, and let the construction community know why The Construction Life is your go-to podcast. Visit our website and check out the over 400 tradespeople and construction professionals listed on our site. Check out www.theconstructionlife.com for additional content, behind-the-scenes exclusives, and valuable resources. Dive deeper into the construction world with articles, guest profiles, and more. Follow us on social at TCL_The Construction Life. Subscribe to our video channels on YouTube and Rumble. Check out our link tree and find exclusive discounts for listeners. The link is in the IG bio. Join the conversation on Facebook, The Construction Life Community. And I definitely thank you for so much for the shopping bag there, which I'm going to probably walk around, and I bet you any money I'll probably bump into people that recognize that logo.
No doubt.
Because me personally, I'm a huge fan of that logo. I love that. I love the simplicity of that logo, and it speaks volumes when I see it. And plus, when you see the truck out there and everything, I love what you've created there, and also the mindset behind the whole English Carpenter idea, right? So that's all.
Yeah, it started on a whim, and yeah, kind of escalated, shall we say. Yeah.
Okay.
Just me back in the day, and kind of running around doing jobs that I wouldn't even want to do in my own house now. Go around maybe hanging a picture for someone, a couple of handy fixes here.
Is that how it got started?
That's not how it got started, no. How did it get started? I used to do a lot of kind of landscaping and labouring jobs back in the day during the summer times.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of my go-to things.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the kind of the physicality, the being on site, and having some fun. Really, the kind of just being physical with your body and moving. Still to today, like when stuff turns up at the site, people are like, "Oh, I have to bring this stuff in." It's like, I like it. It's a workout. It's like, yeah, okay, 12 sheets in one go. 12 sheets this way, then 12 sheets this way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have that thought when we have that load arrive on the site. We have that thought, oh, we got to move all this stuff to closer to where we have to work with it. But then it happens. It just gets
it's not
made.
gonna move itself.
Yeah, exactly. It just happens. Whether it's yourself and some of the tradies on site or whatever, it happens. And then all of a sudden you can get to the good stuff. You can get working on this stuff, right? Which is great.
Moving stuff around. And it's key when that stuff turns up at any job site. Where's it going to go?
Yeah.
It needs to be moved just once. Yeah. Put in that position, and then from there gets worked on and then moved.
Exactly.
You can really slow things down.
Were you always a tradie, Paul? Like, were you always going to be this?
No.
No,
this
what was the career
plan.
path on earlier days? The younger,
the younger days, I was going to join the army. I was going to join the RAF.
Okay,
so it was kind of a very kind of disciplined upbringing that way.
Yeah,
it was a disciplined upbringing, I'd say, because Dad was a cop, Mum was a nurse, so a very kind of straightforward upbringing. And then I joined the reserves for quite a few years. It's like playing. Okay, I'm going to go full time.
Different kind of building.
Yeah, more time taken apart.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It was a physical job. Again, working with great people, working as part of a team. And then they were messing me around when I was trying to go full time.
Yeah.
And a good friend, Martin, was like, if they can mess you around this much right now, imagine what they can do once you're in. Now, this was early 2001.
Okay.
And I decided to take a trip to Canada.
Yeah.
Come and see a friend over here. And of course, at the end of the year, 9/11 happens. The world completely changes. And,
Yeah.
I'll always say, I was proud to have served my country, but I'm glad I never went to war. So, excuse the pun, but dodged a bullet. A lot of my friends ended up down there, and I would have liked to have been a part of that because that's what I trained for, but really, no.
Would have been different.
It would have been, and yes, career path was very different back in the day. It was still kind of a very physical thing. I enjoyed, like I say, during the college days, kind of doing landscaping jobs and labouring gigs because it was better paid. You stayed fit. You're outside in the sunshine. Your other friends would be, I don't know, inside a supermarket. Just kind of.
What's the mindset, Paul, that when you got started, because everybody has a very humble beginning, right? Yeah. Nobody's, technically speaking, just thrown into construction and given multi-million-dollar home to get started with, right? Sure. We all have to take that shovel and put it into the ground and start our job, right?
Grab that broom.
Exactly. It's the same thing. So it's just, what was the mindset that you had then that you still have today? Because now you've built a solid brand where people recognize you and your team, but I'm pretty sure that you guys still have that roots, those roots in the business.
Certainly work hard aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, work hard, work smart.
Yeah.
You're not constantly grafting. I was saying about bringing materials in. Where are you going to place those materials? Where are they going to end up? I think the thing that really kind of pushed me in the direction of carpentry was working on a big building site it was kind of a big subdivision back in the day, and I was working for, I think it was Brian Holmes, one of the big home builders back in the UK, and I had to help out with most trades. And it was always the carpenters were the fun ones to hang out with.
They had the most interesting stories.
They are the most, they were kind of the jocks of the building site.
Yeah, that's exactly
the ground workers were an interesting crew, it's like you wanted to keep them on your side and not cross their path. The masons, I mean, whether it's the UK or Canada or wherever you go, it's the same characters doing the same job. Yeah.
Yep.
And
So relevant. They're so relatable.
The most fun.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. And the variety of it. You know, you could be framing one day, you could be finishing the next. So there's a lot of aspects of carpentry that it's broad spectrum without a doubt.
Of course, yeah. How many years did you do that for?
Ooh, during the summer times, I don't know, to be honest. Then I came over here traveling back in the day and got myself a few jobs on building sites. And, you know, the plan was back in the day, I'd go to Australia and New Zealand, but everyone was going to Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, well, lots of people from the UK that were actually going that
way.
way.
They go that way. But
Instead
I
of
had
this
a friend
way.
through rugby.
Yeah.
He was a guy from Lindsay, Ontario, who I'm still friends with to date.
Yep.
And I was like, listen, Brad, I'm going to come and see you for a week. This was March, 2001.
Okay.
Beautiful time of year to come to Canada, right?
Yeah, of course.
And come and see him. I was like, I'm going to do the USA and Canada. I'm going to do this one first and then go to Australia and New Zealand.
That didn't work out?
No, never made it to Australia. I did to New Zealand, but never
But
to Australia.
in all fairness, Paul, like Canada was a completely different nation 23 years ago, 22 years ago.
Yeah.
Was a completely different. So you've seen it, I don't know if evolve is the right word, but it's changed.
It has, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Personalities, thoughts, how we go about doing things.
How's construction from then to now? Because you've got a team, like you got a pretty big team. And are you the oldest? No, are you there? Yeah, you are the oldest.
I am, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have a different reflection of construction.
They do, yeah. I mean, some of our people, I've probably, even though I wasn't born in Canada, I'm probably more Canadian than them because I've been here longer than them.
Exactly.
Longer than they've been on the earth. Yeah, good question, because as things have changed in construction, we've changed as well.
You have to.
Yeah, because I was that one-man band, one-person band, and then I need a labourer, then I need another carpenter. And I got to the stage where it was like, now we need an office manager, now we need a project manager, now I need this person, that person. That when I first started out, I didn't know what, I was winging it in business. I was a carpenter. I was a carpenter. I didn't know how to run a business.
Yeah.
And many things I kind of missed out on, and I wouldn't say overlooked, I just wasn't aware of these things. And then you have these harsh lessons along the way, whether that's fine because you didn't pay your HST on time, which you didn't know how to be paid by the certain day, or not having the right things in place. So I guess as we've evolved, things have also changed, and we're trying to stay on top of these things. You never can. You never can.
No, it's always too much.
Your best, yeah.
Plus, by the way, we have to run a job.
Yeah.
We have the client, take care of. We have
wearing many hats.
Yeah, many hats. But I mean, where were you getting your knowledge to expand your business? And were you still nervous at that point to expand the business? Because obviously you were a one-man shop at the beginning, but then you needed to bring in these other people.
Reading books, networking, speaking to lots of the other trades. Like, how do you do this? How do you deal with it?
Yeah.
I mean, networking is huge. Tradies don't like to talk to each other. In fact, the same trades don't want to talk to each other. But
They don't like sharing.
They say, it's always like,
it's a threat.
Show me mine, show you yours. I speak, it's hard to get information from carpenters, I find. If I can go and speak to the mason or the plumber, the roofer, the structural engineer, and get some tips that way.
And you'll get them.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like, the same trades don't want to talk to each other. And you're better together. So if you're doing things this way, I can help you out. Scratch my back, I can scratch yours, yeah.
Is that the same still now? No, I think it's better now.
I think so, and I think we've grown and the company's grown.
Yeah.
We've made friends along the way. We've also made a few enemies along the way, but I think we definitely made more friends than
Get
enemies.
in line, Paul. Get in line. I don't care. Like, as you get older, trust me, when you cross 50, you won't care how long the line of enemies is compared to the line of friends, right?
It's the good people that look
It just doesn't matter. And then the enemies will turn around and just become your friends one day, and you'll just keep them at bay at some point. But that's just life. That's just how it is. When you get better at your skill, then it attracts other people curious about how you got better at your skill. And why am I not better at my skill? Well, that's how you communicate now. If we communicated and we worked together and we shared and we discussed how to problem solve, we'd be better as a team instead of as an individual. Isn't that right?
Well, that's true. And, certainly when we're doing the renovation side of things, we have a pre-construction process where we
haven't even got it. I totally forgot. I got to let people know that, first of all, you're a framer, but you're also a GC and you're a site super and you're a renovator. Like you're handling projects, additions, new builds, your decks, outdoors. I don't think there's anything that you don't do as a construction site.
You know what?
You do projects.
We do big projects, renovations and additions. That's one side of the business. The timber frame is the other side of the business. So there's a lot of hats to be worn, and it's all about delegation. And I'm blessed with a fantastic office manager. She's definitely the backbone of the company. So big shout out to Tessa for that one. And the people on site, whether that's the labourer, the carpenter, the site super, the project manager. It's like you need all these moving parts because there's a lot of moving parts. In building a house, from just the land itself to the dig to everything to handing the keys back in.
Everything.
Clean up at the end.
But the team, is everybody still on board based on the website here? Because you got Tessa and then Barbara, Cody, Brendan, Jack, Simon, Curtis. Everybody's there now.
They're on the website?
They're on the website. That's why I was looking at them, right? So I was just like, are they still there? Are they still playing?
Not all of them.
Not all of them. Okay, all right, cool. Yeah. So who's still there? Do you want to do shout outs to them and figure out what their duties are?
The team at the moment, basically, Tessa, our office manager, our two lead guys.
And I agree with you. The heart, the brains, the movement of the business, right? So,
and she's the calm and the collective where it's like, I need to reply
every
to
business,
email.
every successful
that email
business.
goes to Tessa first, so Tessa edits it, and it comes back completely different. And then it gets sent out. And then there's Cody, who's been with me for the longest time out of the team. Lead guy, just back from I think you're part of the world, right? Portugal.
Oh, he was in Portugal?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 weeks. So
did he enjoy?
I bet he did. I don't want to go and see him. He's be there with a beautiful tan, all happy and relaxed. So I'll see him later today. Another lead guy, Mike. We've got a fantastic apprentice, Greg. Then we've got Jack and Simon.
Okay.
Two other carpenters,
Those are the English Carpenter team. But then you also have all your sub-trades as well, too, right?
Oh, some fantastic sub-trades. Our sub-trades, we wouldn't be able to do really anything. I'm not going to do the electrical. I'm not doing the plumbing. I'm not doing I can do some demo. Not as fast as
But you want to get other professionals.
It's going to happen much faster.
I'm just curious, Paul, what's your favorite?
What's my favorite?
Skill-wise regarding the
timber framing.
Timber framing. That's
without
what I
a doubt.
Yeah. Just dealing with the wood.
It's an art. It's it's concentration. It's not take your hammers out and nail guns and bang, 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 bang. Let's go as fast as we can. You've got to concentrate.
There's thought behind it, and it's funny that when I look at your stuff or when you post something, I literally and I encourage anybody to do this. You can smell the wood on your post, man. I'm telling you, it's there. You can totally see it, and I'm like, you're a wood person, right? You're not a composite. Have you done?
I hate it.
Okay, I assume. I didn't want to just.
We had to do a job this year where it went on. It's like, this is just plastic. This is waste. This is garbage. This never going to kind of.
If you want to appreciate wood, look at your posts and just pay attention to. I mean, just certain little projects that you've done. It's just you're working with cedar and you're working outdoors and you're building certain things, and then that's not even touching the timber framing part of things, right? That it's just very refreshing to see that, because in our industry, as you've probably seen in 2 decades, a lot of tradies have gone the composite route. I guess it's just because the market has gone that way and they have to just accept it.
Yeah, a lot of times on the renovations, we're not picking the finishes.
Of course.
We're being told what to install.
Of course, yeah.
And sometimes, I remember we were going to do a project last year. It was a huge renovation, and at the end, it was a composite deck. And of course, the deck's the last thing to be done.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's getting tight on funds towards the end.
Of course.
And it's like, okay, well, this is the price for the composite, but we can do cedar for this much. And they're like, okay, we're doing cedar. Yes. It's just working with cedar, it's just the smell.
It's amazing, especially in the summer. It's not even that bad in the winter months or whatever, and you're trying to pull something off before Mother Nature really kicks you. It's
Anytime
just
soon.
I know which is happening. We're all living that right now. But it's just, I guess the argument with the clients is the maintenance argument, where they start looking at it composite, and I'm going to fight that point, because there isn't one single composite that is pristine, perfectly, no maintenance whatsoever you have to do.
It's lower maintenance, without a doubt.
That's all it is. It's just lower maintenance. It's not no maintenance.
It's plastic.
Exactly.
A cedar was going to last 20, 25 years outside, just depending on the conditions.
If it's built correctly and the conditions and the site conditions, right?
For sure, is there big trees dropping leaves on it, which you stick to every year? Do you clear the snow off? What do you do with it? So
I would encourage any clients to take their shoes off, take their socks off, and walk on a cedar deck versus doing the same on a composite deck.
Especially during the summertime. Wow.
Yeah.
Not that you would try it in the winter. Well, maybe you would.
But you could probably try that. But the thing is, like, the feeling that you would get connectivity-wise with the wood on barefoot versus composite on barefoot, it's two different feelings, man.
Without doubt.
That's why. So I kind of get them to do that, and then it's almost a no-brainer at that point.
That's the test. That's the selling feature. I turn up
Yeah.
and have a couple of composite boards, heat them up in the truck first, and put them down. It's like, okay, shoes and socks off. Let's go for a little walk.
It's a great idea. And you know what's funny is that I've been to enough trade shows in my career that no salespeople of composite are ever asking anybody to do that. And there's a reason why they're not asking them to do that. Because
they know.
It's not going to get sold if you do that, right? So, past the point of you got Neanderthal feet or whatever, I don't care about that. Just I want you to barefoot.
I think we all do after wearing work boots for so long, yeah.
But it's just how it is. So I think it was refreshing to see your content and you share. And it's wood, right? And I'm not even just talking about just the floor aspects, like the post details and the stair railing details and all kinds of stuff, and then the soffits and the under. Like, it was just amazing detail, right? But you're showing little details and little tricks, like, and I'm respectful of that because the younger generation can see that and go,
sure.
So that's kind of how he did it, right? But you're not revealing everything, like any good tradie should do. You have to let them figure it out, part of it. It's important that the younger generation figure out part of it.
And there's only so much, a photo can, obviously paint 1,000 words, but until you then see the whole picture, which you can narrow down to your small Instagram post, there's so many parts to it that just don't get seen. Or sometimes you take one and it's like you forget about the other things that maybe someone else would focus on. Yeah. A lot of people really like the finished photos. To me, it's like, I like the framing side of things. But of course, we do a job from start to finish, but I'm not taking photos all the way. Well, we do. We document photos all the way through.
Yeah.
More that we can go back if there's a problem, if someone's kind of drywalled over where there's an outlet, and there's a classic on every job. They're going over at least one or two outlets.
There's always cutouts afterwards, yeah.
If we need to figure out, okay, where was the stud placement? Where was that taken from? So we're always taking photos all the way through, but we've got this Instagram file, and we've got this great social media person, Jackie, who we work with, who puts it all together, edits, and puts the overlay over the top. I send her the photos, she adds the text or whatever it is, and she's like, Paul, we definitely need more finished photos. There's a lot of framing here. It's like, I know.
You know what, though? I think I'll argue that. I don't think you need more finishing photos. I think the finishing photos will speak for themselves at that point when you share a few of them about it. I think the ratio I'm going to say is like 1 to 10. As contractors, we know safety is crucial at all times. But having team members not follow, or even worse, not know safety protocols is something that can cause stress and anxiety in the workplace. We face this and many other challenges daily, from calling the entire team just to make sure jobs are done in a safe manner, to updating team members one by one about training they need to complete regarding a certain tool or a new regulation, only to figure out who has or hasn't completed the training and document everything in messy folders. We deal with a lot, but Connect Team is here to help us out. Connect Team is a platform built for managers with a lot of different capabilities made to ease communications and operations, helping you get a clear and live overview of your business while giving your employees one central and simple app for work. Connect Team has a free plan and a 14-day free trial. Try them today by checking out the link in the show notes. I want to see these details because there's so many details. If you think about just the different trades, like if you start going just with framing itself and then start going into mechanical trades and then you're going into the finishing trades, substrates, all that stuff, 10 to 1 ratio is a pretty good ratio regarding a finished photo to 10 in progress photos. But you can't really explain that to social media people because they're like, no, the finished photos are what kind of
I mean, that's
everybody.
the nice thing with those kind of stories or the reels.
Yeah.
Because then it gives a bigger picture of what's happening on the side. You can kind of pan through, go up, go down.
You've had your fair share of working all over the city, and I know that you've worked in a lot of the juicy neighborhoods. Like I've seen like work in Leslieville, Riverdale, Little Italy. You've been in Queen West, like all over the place, High Park. How much different are the homes all over the place? Like, are they I know that in Toronto has its history where there's influences of certain areas.
Sure.
There's that classic Toronto high gable, narrow home that we're so used to.
Victorian style,
Yeah, we're so used to that. And then all of a sudden High Park became something slightly different.
More of a subdivision back in the day.
It did. It was mixed. It was getting mixed to that. Sure. But what is your favorite part of the city?
The West End.
Really,
yeah? Because it's close to home.
Okay.
I can take my bike.
Yeah. So you can ride to work.
Yeah. I can't stand going through downtown.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass.
It is. I went to a job over in the beach the other day. No,
There's only
I'll take the
two
subway.
ways to get there, and both ways are congested.
Well, one's a boat.
Really? That's what.
Well, no, I joke, but I mean, you can literally go down to, let's say, Humber Bay Yacht Club.
Oh, you're
take
getting
a boat from
okay,
there.
you're
And
going all the way
it's
there.
probably quicker. I don't have a boat,
Wow.
but if I'm doing a job next time,
I'm waiting
I'll
for the
look into it.
contractor is going to have a helicopter, and they could just do landings on their job site, which would be kind of
Coming
interesting,
soon.
right? And you're hanging like a table saw from it or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah. Beat that traffic. Yeah.
No, but have you seen, like, I'm sure you've opened up quite a bit of projects across the city and discovered what magic tricks past tradies have done work with.
You know,
right?
one I came across just recently. Where was that? Broadale. And full gut renovation. And we open it up, and there's on the inside now the brickwork for arches and doorways. So it's a 2 wide brick building, but on the outside there's no opening. So our guess was that back in the day, the brickies there were kind of teaching the apprentices, okay, this is how you do it. That was their kind of practice area.
And they
on
did
the
it.
inside,
Really?
but you don't see it on the outside. So I thought that's a pretty cool way of.
It makes sense because
Yeah.
where else would you practice?
I guess they weren't going to trade school back then. These buildings were built.
The site was a school.
1910,
Yeah.
1920. So they were learning these tricks then where they wouldn't be seen. So I was really impressed by that.
I've seen that before, and what's really respectful is that even the mortar joints and everything are still nicely done
Yeah.
in these pieces of brickwork that are
It's
covered.
like the size of your little finger.
I
12,
know. So they
12.5
were like,
millimeters.
you got to
Yeah.
wonder what's going on back then. Like, was just there more love for the tradie at that point that
Yeah,
even
I
though
think
it
there's-
was being a test or it was inside a wall, they were still doing it as if it was.
Well,
being
you didn't get it
presented.
right, you get fired.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's totally true.
There's not that fear now of losing your job. I think back then, or even when I started, it's like, if I screw up, I'm out the door. There's another person right behind me.
Of course, you're
Now
replaced.
It's very, very different, I find. Yeah.
There's an opportunity around the corner.
Yeah, and I think because trades are in such demand, if you're not happy, you could be fired from one job one day, the next morning have another job. And we've hired people like that who just have the world's most glowing resume, turn up.
I've never cared about a resume. I never. Paid
I like to
attention
see where you've been. And
Yeah.
a few times I followed up, and a couple of times I haven't reached out to if I've recognized someone on there. But there's definitely certain things you can pick out from a resume which kind of tells you about the character of someone.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, in fact, so I was speaking to not too long ago who's now back in New Zealand. His resume turned up. I noticed he played rugby. I'm like, okay, well, he's a team player. I said, maybe I can poach him for the team I play for, yeah.
How long you been playing rugby?
Way too long. I don't play anymore.
Because the age.
The age, the body. I mean, it's time for the kids to play now.
Yeah. Okay.
I've played since I was a little kid. In fact, I was on my way over to meet a friend I've been playing rugby with. I was explaining to my friend in the car there, it's like, yeah, I've been playing with hoops since 2013. No, that sounds wrong. No, 2003. And I thought about it again. I said, no, 1993 is the first time I started playing with this guy. Wow, that's a long time. That's a long time.
It goes by fast.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was a great sport to play, and I actually ended up playing a game for my old team, the Toronto Buccaneers. Earlier, I hadn't played in 3 years. I picked up an injury in my last game. I think it was just when it was during the pandemic. It was one of the first games we could play.
Okay.
And we're up in Collingwood playing. It was a blazing hot day, and I can't get roped into it because I've played second row before, so not many people play it. It's not a favoured position.
No.
You have to be taller, uglier than most people, and you get roped into it that way. And the coach or the captain at the time was like, listen, Cozy. So all my friends always call me Cozy. Like,
Cozy?
Cozy.
Okay.
And listen, we need you to play. We only need you. You'd be good for like 20, 30 minutes. It'll be fine. And I get on the coach.
You get roped in.
Yes, okay, that sounds like fun. That sounds like a nice summer's day. Nothing's happening. I'm on the coach on the way up there. I see all the guys I was playing with at the back of the coach, and like, they're not playing. If they're drinking beer, they're not playing. And I start looking up and down the coach, like, I don't recognise half these guys. And I'm their senior by about 10 years. And then I was like, where's the other second row? Because there's normally two. And I was like, oh, I didn't even see another second row, let alone a replacement second row. So we get up there, 40 minutes is half time. I look at the coach, he's like, you got another 40 in you, haven't you? And it was a great game. I think I even scored a try in that game, but the final whistle goes, and she's like, off with the jersey, walked straight into Georgian Bay there, and I was just sat there. I was like, oh, aching. I busted my knee during the game, and I didn't really realise until on the bus ride home.
Until you look at it.
Yeah, and I think they dropped us off on the Danforth to go to some bar down there, and I go to stand up, and my knee had seized. I was like, okay, this is too much now. This is too much.
It's done at that point.
And then,
now you just watch.
I ended up in a competition in Coburg back in October.
Okay.
And it was like it was only 40-minute games, but there was 3 of them. After not playing in 3 years, like, am I going to make this? Old boys rugby, so.
Do all the kinks come back like real quick? Like all of a sudden you
Not real quick, a lot slower.
Okay.
Like, up here it's quick, but like, the body doesn't move as fast. But yeah, it was good. Now the kids are playing. Yeah,
well, it's good that you brought up the team connection between that sport and any sport sometimes, and the team connected to construction.
It's important.
It's important, yeah.
You have to be an individual sometimes and be left to go off to a job and know that you can do the job by yourself, but you're working as part of a team. Even on a building site, if there's other trades there, you're all working towards that end goal.
Am I wrong to say that the younger kids these days are not jumping towards team opportunities like that? I know that they're sharing their wealth on being in the gym and doing the individual workouts and doing all that kind of stuff and eating
but you have to
right.
do that to be able to. Yeah. When we would go rugby training back in the day, you weren't doing sprints and fitness, and you're learning the drills, you're learning the skills. So you're expected to go off, do the runs, do the cycles, get in the gym, and lift weights. So I don't know. That's a good question.
It's almost like a picture of health and fitness.
Yeah.
But they're missing the opportunity of actually literally scrapes and bruises. Yeah. Right? Because we all get scrapes and bruises on the job site as much as you get onto the field, right?
Yeah, you get home at the end of the day and sometimes you look at that. Someone's like, you're bleeding. You're like, where? Look at that. There and there. This mystery kind of bruises.
That's what I'm saying is it doesn't start to hurt until you discover it. Once you discover it, and you're like, now it starts to hurt. I get it. So don't look at it. Leave it alone, right? But yeah, there's a missed opportunity, I think, there for like, I guess, advancement for your career, like construction advancement.
Yeah, it's good networking as well. You join any kind of team, and there's a broader spectrum of people that you know that you can kind of work with, talk with, and make friends with.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
And you never know what other side.
Hey, if it wasn't for rugby, I mean, my business probably wouldn't be where it is now.
I agree with you.
I got a lot of jobs through it.
Of course, because you start
and
networking.
hired a lot of people because of it. So.
And then they also see how you are in different circumstances too, right? During the process of the game.
Yeah.
You're seeing like the highs and lows and how you react and how you solve.
Yeah, there's a lot of problem solving when things aren't going your way.
Yeah, exactly. There's a huge amount, right?
Just like the job site.
I want to talk about, I know there was a job that you guys did where you were, and I want to get the backstory on it, you were leveling the whole older diagonal plank subfloor. Like you were putting down 2x4 sleepers with wedges, and then you were installing all kinds of new plywood on top of that.
I think which one that was.
I'm trying to figure out which one it was. I don't know if it was tagged on what part of the city it was, but you were re-leveling a whole wood floor.
That's a project we took on in Kensington Market, I think.
Okay, so Kensington Market is notorious for a bunch of magicians. All kinds of surprises, right? That floor was out of whack a lot.
Yeah, I think what happened on that one before we got in, a couple of walls had been taken down, some big structural beams had been put in. So I think there's 2 separate properties. So one's up here, one's down here.
Wow.
There's a driveway at the back on another, which had then been exposed that we had to bring up. We do a lot of restructuring. Structural work is definitely our forte.
How was that particular project with, I guess, the engineer talking about it? Like, I wanted to figure out why was that the solution instead of just trying to LVL underneath it or...
I don't know, because we were subbing on that one to another company.
Okay.
And this had been figured out beforehand. They get in touch, like, listen, can you do it? We can't find anyone to do it. It's like, of course we can. Yeah. Like I say, structure was our forte. We knew the structural engineer as well. We've worked with him before. So that's always good because there's that kind of open communication. Sometimes when you're dealing with a new architect or engineer, they're hard to get hold of.
Well, they're also reluctant to work with somebody new because they don't know who you are.
They can be that.
They don't know what you are all about.
I always welcome those opportunities of working with new architects, engineers, trades. We've got our go-tos without a doubt. People that we tried and tested.
Yeah.
And there'll always be our kind of go-tos because I know they're going to sometimes turn up on time, but do a great job. If there's a problem, they're going to come back and.
But you're going to learn, and they're also going to learn.
For sure.
Both sides of the fence, I think you learn when you actually get an opportunity to work with a structural engineer, right?
Yeah, we've got some great ones we work with, and got a couple more structural projects coming up soon with big beams, big I-beams, and always the backbreaker.
That must have been a pain in Kensington with parking and everything like that, because it's just a nightmare, right?
I mean, we're lucky because we're starting, I don't know how you look at it, but trades start early. So, we're getting to the job site for about 7 o'clock in the morning, so parking's available. Kensington's kind of dead.
But then by 10 o'clock? Is it 9 o'clock?
Constantly, you're using the green P.
Okay.
Going and paying for parking, which gets billed back to the.
Of course, it's
the
part of the
GC
project.
Yeah. It's like this is a cost. We need our trucks. They're basically our mobile toolboxes, if you like. But it's one of the biggest things that put me off with a job. If I go and see a job and there's no parking, because it's just not me being a princess. Like, I need.
No, it's not.
Like,
you're thinking logistics.
Where do I put the porch potty? Where do I put the drywall, the lumber when everything comes in?
Yeah. Exactly. But I mean, just for anybody who's not familiar with Toronto, Kensington Market is, I think it's probably one of the densest part of the city where they just ram-packed as many homes together and expanded homes over other homes, and just it's not the
and lots of businesses happening down there.
Yeah, huge amount. I think every building has a business on the bottom, if not on the second floor as well too. It's just
an
it's
interesting
really
part of town, but
and then
it wouldn't
parking.
be my first choice to go and work there. I mean, it was a sizable enough project. It was literally just framing. So the nice thing with that is, I don't have to go to the job site daily and check in or set people up. It's like, okay, guys, you know what you're doing here. You've got this.
Yeah. But it's just one of the challenging spots because there is a lot of lack of parking.
Oh, without doubt.
And they keep, I think, on a daily basis just getting rid of parking spots where you're not allowed to stay because they just want people to freely walk all over the place, which is great.
I get that.
But we still need to build the infrastructure, right?
Still need to build. Deliveries still need to be made to all the shops and coffee shops and everything else happening down there. Yeah, there's still you can't get rid of vehicles completely. We're not there. We're not flying yet.
There was another project that you did where you had the opportunity to put a radiant in the walls.
Yeah.
Was that yours, client, designer?
That was the client's son was an architect and he had seen this before, so he
seen it in Europe.
Yeah, well,
I've seen it.
It was out in BC. And
really?
They've done it out there.
Okay.
Of course, depending on what part of the province you're in, very different climate. So, yeah, that was interesting. We've never done that before. I'm trying to think why we didn't go in floor with that one, because that would have been the obvious. You know why? I think because it would have lifted the floor too much. Because that was a sunroom at the back of our house.
So they went with the radiant in the. I thought it was because it was either a wet area, shower, and it was right next to the exterior wall, right?
A sunroom. So
really?
The electric heat, the Schluter system.
It doesn't. They won't pass it. ESA.
Well, that's not going to be the heating source. That's the comfort thing, right?
Yes, that's all it is. It's a secondary thing.
Yeah.
But I was just. Obviously, you offloaded a whole box of protection plates, right? Because you had to protect every single line there. But I was curious about what was that site inspection from the building inspector like when he or she saw that. Was it just we're fine with this? This is good.
I think there's probably a way we had to prove it. Whether I did the inspection or not, it passed, it closed. Clients are happy.
Which is great.
4 or 5 years ago, and I haven't had any calls back or complaints since. We've gone back to do other things for them.
It's a smart idea because that actual heat would go through, and you had the insulation foil right behind it.
That's it.
So then it doesn't go into the exterior because
exactly.
you don't want to start creating problems on the exterior cladding, which is probably brick. You want it to go on the inside. So then, technically speaking, it would work. Like it would heat that area based on.
Like I say, it was an architect who came up with it. And on a lot of our projects, we get told what to do.
Yeah.
We have that creative freedom on some projects, but on a lot of projects, we're being told what to do. This is what you're installing. You're installing the composite. You're installing this tile. The painter has to paint these colors. And you kind of walk back like, really? You picked these? But the architect's happy, or the client's over the moon. So on that one, we were kind of told what to do.
And you come up with the how to do it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
It's kind of the, working, who would that have been? I think it was Cam Giroux from iHeart Heating. Great heating company to work with there. Sadly, he's not in the city anymore. He's on the left side of the country.
Okay.
And again, it's always working with your subtrades. And going back to that, I was saying earlier about the pre-construction process that we do. We bring all the trades through, in order of appearance, because then they're turning up to the job site. They can see what the conditions are.
Yeah.
They can see where they go put a bin.
Yeah.
They can kind of look at the joist layout. Like, you put the toilet there. Well, to get the drain from there to over here, we have to create a bulkhead.
Yeah.
What it certainly eliminates is they turn up on. You've just sent them the drawings. Okay, do best case scenario. Turn up day one and say, "Well, I didn't know it was going to be like this." Okay, day one, change order. So, it doesn't encapsulate everything, but it really narrows it down to. It gets the big ticket items. People have seen what's going on, and we can kind of come up with a scope of work when the trades are coming through. The demo team's telling us one thing. The roofer's coming through. It's like, what? You're going to need line protection if we're doing this. Like, okay, well, you can't miss that item now.
The decision process in selecting your siding and colors can be challenging, which is why Fraser Wood Siding is here to make the process as simple as possible. Their beautiful pre-finished wood siding is made using high-quality PEFC certified Canadian softwood, and it's available in 17 profiles in unlimited colors. Supplied by the global leader in paints, Sherwin-Williams. With distribution all over Canada, USA, and Europe, Fraser Wood Siding can help you achieve your desired look no matter the style. Visit their website, www.fraserwoodsiding.com, and check out their products online. You can even request a sample directly from the website. Simply click the Request a Sample link and fill in your information, and your sample will arrive in just a few days. Fraser Wood Siding, get inspired. But how are you doing that, I guess, pricing-wise? How are you're just covering yourself knowing that you go through the scope. You're already estimating.
But the estimating on a big project is a paid process.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a very time-consuming process. You're talking to a lot of moving parts, getting details both back from the trades, the architect, the engineer, whatever kind of surveys may be needed, whether that's locates and gathering all this information so you have everything there ready to go. They can present the package. Okay.
Yep.
This is what your drawings show. This is what's going to cost. This is the real cost. Now, do you have that?
Yeah.
If not, say, okay, well, something's got to give. Either you have to give more money or we have to start knocking things off the list here.
It's as simple as that. You're not discounting things just to please their price point, right?
Well, it's not.
You can't.
We can discount.
You're running a business.
I can't say to the electrician, go on, just do it a little cheaper, would you?
No.
He's going to go and work on another job.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's my rate. That's my number. I've got experience that's associated with that number, right?
There's a reason that number's that number.
Exactly.
Why we charge these people at this thing.
So it's good that you bring them in, you bring them through so you can have an open conversation about what's the best course of action. I've done that all the time as well too, which makes a lot of sense. I've always had mechanical meetings. Like you come in, everyone come in, like it's nobody's swinging a hammer at that time.
No,
everyone is just looking.
Before.
It's all notepads, right? So all of a sudden you're just like going, okay, let's talk about this bathroom. Let's talk about this bedroom. Let's talk about this.
Exactly. We've got the plans there, they're printed off. They can look at certain things. And
who's got a problem? Hands come up.
Yeah.
Who's got a solution? Hands come up. It's as simple as that.
So they're all coming through, not together, but we do kind of like, okay, you're coming at 8, you're coming at 9.
Yeah. And
but guaranteed the 9 o'clock's turn up at 9 o'clock, the 8 o'clock's turn up at 9 o'clock, and the 10 o'clock's running early.
Because they know the value of this conversation. Yeah. It's extremely important, right?
It is very important to just figure out the logistics. Like, well, if you're working there, I can be here, we can be doing this, or I can't start until this person started. So as well as putting the pricing together, we're also asking them about timelines and starting to work on the schedule and coming up with a realistic schedule. Yeah.
Also, and it's good for all the trades to get a sense of this clarity, so then they can start planning their own schedule, because that's not the only job that they're working.
Oh no,
right? It might be your only job as a business, but it's not. But the thing is, all the sub trades, everybody else that's included, they've got
busy
like
people.
They've got like 12 jobs on the go, and they have to refresh their memory, and they have to figure out what stage each job is going on at. So it's nice, it's very well respected if a GC is actually pulling that off, right? For them, right?
Yeah, it certainly helps us, and it gives us the proper time to kind of sit down, go through the drawings, have the highlighter out. Okay, there's this, there's this. I haven't heard of this before.
Simple.
Yeah.
Have you seen what's the climb been like in the last 20 years? What have they become?
No, we've had some fantastic clients.
Yeah.
People who could call me on a Sunday evening. Typically the phone goes on do not disturb from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. But there's some clients out there we've had who call me on a Sunday night. Yeah, I'll come and change your light bulb. You've been an awesome person. Other people I wouldn't answer the phone to because they've been clients from hell. We've had a few of those. I'm glad
those are life lessons.
Yes, and certainly based on recent experiences, you have to go with that intuition. And when clients are interviewing you,
of course,
but you're interviewing the clients.
Of course,
you have to. Give me something to build. I can build it for you. That's not me blowing my own trumpet. I can build a lot of stuff for you. But if you're going to be a pain in the ass to work with, that's the hardest part of the project. I'm sorry. It's like
I don't even think it's worth to give an increase in price point for being the hardest ass in the project. Right?
Our price is our price.
It's
I hear those like F-off prices where like someone goes, if I don't want a job, I'm telling you, I don't want the job.
I don't want to do it. My team's not ready. You know what? We're not a good fit. It's as simple as that.
You need to interview. Someone came up with it the other day, and I kind of laughed about it. Thought about it after. It's like, okay, the client's going to ask you for 3 referrals. Like, well, yeah, I need 3 from you as well. Can I get your mechanic? Can I get your doctor? Can I get? And I'd like to try that someday.
I totally want to try that. Yeah. I totally want to try that. Yeah, it's true. And I think that when you're going for a job, you ask as many questions as you're asked to answer. Yeah. So if they're asking you a question, you have to ask one.
This is
simple. It's tennis.
Building
That's
a
as
shed
simple
or a
as that.
deck or something like that, is a week, 2 weeks max. But some of these big projects, they can be 6, 12, 18 months.
There's lots. You're getting
It's
to
a
know
long,
these people
long
and their
relationship.
family and their friends and their social media. You're getting to know everything about these people. So it's true. Yeah. Give me 3 references.
How do you kind of pre-qualify?
I want to
people?
speak to your doctor, your mechanic, and your...
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
And your neighbors. Give me your neighbors'
Oh,
numbers. Yeah.
that'll be a good one to find out. Well, I usually find that out when you start surveying the area and you're going in there and then you're starting to get wind of. I've had clients tell me, goes, don't worry, you won't have a problem with that one. You should be okay with this one. And then it's usually the reverse.
Right.
That one that you said was not going to be a problem was the major problem on the project. And that one that you said was going to be a
Every
problem
street has one.
was fine.
Yeah.
So it's just, you don't know, it's how you present yourself at that point, right? But we're the bad guy. We're the contractor that
Always,
makes the noise, brings the bin,
And starts
brings
way
the
too early.
traffic, starts too early, legally allowed to start as early as we do start, work until as late as we want to
I
work.
had that once. I had the jackhammer, and I was respectful. I can't remember what part of town. I think we were in Midtown. They know we can start at 7.
Yeah.
You can start making noise at 7.
course.
This is 8 o'clock.
Of course.
We're taking this concrete porch apart. Like, this guy comes out and is dressed in yarn, just racing. He's like, do you mind? I'm trying to eat breakfast. Like, everyone grab a jackhammer now. I was like, dude, you're eating breakfast now? It's almost lunchtime.
I've had that with generators when certain, I guess like spray foam or somebody comes on and they got to turn over, they got to crank it over. And I think a lot of homeowners don't realize that for the majority of the good tradies out there, they start on time. They'll show up early, stand around, have a conversation, have their coffee, chatting, getting ready to go. Everyone's looking at the clock, just like side-eye looking at the clock. As soon as it turns 7 o'clock, turn it over.
Your time.
And get it started. We get that the rest of the world wakes up after 7 o'clock, but we've been up since 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get the day started, right? So
there's a beauty to wake up early. Wake up, go to the gym, and kids are still asleep, and get some stuff done. Yeah.
Don't you guys work out on the job site all the time? That's a physical job. That's your workout. Shut up and just work out there. Don't. Yeah, I'm not going to have this conversation with you, right? So I just ignored at that point, and then they get, they berate you.
I can't hear you.
Exactly.
The ear protection's on,
right? So I just shake my head. But I wanted to ask you, how was George Brown when you went there?
Great. Yeah,
it was good.
A fantastic course. I learned a lot from it. So you're talking about how the business has progressed or changes that we've seen. Yeah, I started off as a carpenter, not a businessman. I needed to.
Nobody starts off as a business, construction wise.
I didn't go to business school. I didn't learn anything about that. So I went, as the company was evolving, I went back to do a project management course.
Okay.
And within there was the estimating side of things. There was scheduling.
Is it up to date?
No, it was in the evenings.
No. Sorry, is it up to date? Like all this teaching, are they relevant to current job sites?
I learned a lot from it. It was definitely more aimed at the commercial world than the residential world.
Yeah.
It's still worth it because it brought the business in a different direction. And then I went on to do, George Brown I thought was a fantastic college, but this wasn't me being hands-on. This is the theory side of the business, which we needed at that stage. We got to the stage where I wasn't getting enough information from other people. Okay, what do I do? So I became the project manager then.
And then how was the class, the kids, everybody else that was coming up?
You know what? It was a lot of people going back to school, a lot of adults there, and very different to the school days because I'm paying for this now. I'm paying for this course. So you had the people in front of me talking, like, shh, I'm trying to learn here. So quickly went from the back of the class to the front of the class there with my notes. When you want to go and learn something, you're going to give it your full
You're going to pay attention.
You can tell the people who have been sent there by work, like, oh, yes, Thursday night we could be out doing this, and this. And they're just there.
I'm just here for the credit.
Just there for show.
Yeah.
I'll get a pay rise if I do this, but
they don't realize that they're missing this huge opportunity. Like it's going to benefit them later on in life.
So you can certainly tell the ones who are keen to learn and the others who have just been who are there because they had to be there. Yeah.
I'm curious about some of the framing tricks that you've learned over time to make your life easier. Because I've always said on the show, respecting the next trade, where it's like, exactly what's going to happen as a result if you frame a room this way or a home this way.
Sure.
And I've done this before. I've done chases for home automation. I've done specific chases knowing that 6-inch, 8-inch lines of HVAC are going to run through here. So then I'm already preparing for all this stuff. I don't need you to come in and be that beaver HVAC person that's just going to raw out everything. And then now you got to go back in and fix all that stuff. So I'm trying to anticipate that. So are there little things that I know I've done it several times for niches and showers where you already start preparing it for it and knowing that you're not going to build a small niche. The couple is going to want a larger space, right? So there's lots of framing tips that you've come across.
So just when it comes to a niche, a lot of times you'll see a designer or architect try and put a niche into a 2x4 wall. It's straight away, that's not big enough to take your bottle of shampoo. And as I touch my hair, I don't use too much shampoo. I do during the winter time down here when I get the insulation back. So automatically, niche 2x6 wall.
All the time, for sure.
And there's other tricks to it. It's like, okay, you're routering out the back of the niche so you can put some plywood on the back.
Yep.
So you've got a decent backing rather than going straight back to the drywall, which is going to be no good. And
because you know what the future is going to be like on the other side of that drywall.
Exactly.
Depending on
give it a few years.
Yeah, for sure.
That's disappearing. So what we've created, and with the help of a business coach and his checklist, a guy, I don't know if you've come across this guy, Brian Kaplan.
Okay.
Fantastic business coach.
He's here in Toronto?
He was. He's in Vancouver as well now.
Okay.
Yeah. So construction and consulting. We worked with him during the days of the pandemic just to get our systems in order. The company had grown to that stage where we literally just took Tessa on as everything kind of shut down. It's like, okay, welcome now, everyone.
We're hiring.
Go home. Yeah.
Okay.
And we needed to figure out kind of new systems, and he helped with some checklists. And now we have a lot of checklists in place that when the crews go to the site, it's okay. Let's say it's just a framing job they're doing. These are the tools that you need. Rather than getting to the job site, I have the sledgehammer. Oh, forgot the framing nail. It's like, okay, there's the checklist.
And
You had everything.
Taking care of all that? She's the one that's kind of managing that, or are you guys?
Well, it's almost a copy and paste now. So,
got it. Okay.
Brian got us onto using the Google Drive, so the people at the sites
I like that.
can just go and look at the drawings. They're not constantly on the phone, but sometimes they're constantly on their phone looking for these details. And I can't look at drawings for a job site on a phone.
On a phone, you can't.
I print it off. I put it on
tablet,
the walls.
you can. I prefer paper. Yeah. I know.
I like paper because then you can kind of lay this out here and see multiple screens of pages at the same time. So what it meant was by going on the drive, people could turn up at the one job site. Like, okay, here's the to-do list. So for each job we had, okay, here's the to-do list. Like this, what the electricians have to do, this what the carpenters have to do, this what the plumbers need to do. And they'd be sent out each week. So it's just really keeping everyone on the same page. Yeah.
He's very familiar with construction. Brian.
Oh yeah, he had a company in the city.
Okay.
It was him who really put our systems into place. We were organised to a company of 4 or 5 people. We had the notes we had to have, but when we kind of grew even more and took on an office manager, we needed to kind of get things online. Yeah.
How is it dealing with I'm assuming you're not on the tools all that often these days.
That's right.
You're on the business. You're handling the clients and you're scheduling and working all the trades and the suppliers and you're preparing everything. And also you're doing sales and getting out more word so then you can get more projects coming.
Lots of hats.
Lots of hats at that point. Different kinds of hats, right, at that point. But I mean, how is it dealing with the clients? Like, are you the one that's just always the point person with the client? Like, are they always expecting you on the job site? Are they always expecting you to be there?
And that's something, I have to go.
It's like your Waldo of construction. Like, they expect you to be everywhere.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Said construction time is 7 till 4 most days. That I'm not there from 7.
He's
till 4.
there. He's there. No, you can't
there.
be. Yeah,
I've got a project manager. I've got
representatives of you.
Exactly. I can't be everywhere. We've got a couple of jobs on the go at any one time. Certainly with the timber frame side of things, I've got those out in the garage, the workshop, and everything's there, so I can take a break, go inside, make myself a cup of tea, and then deal with those things. And certainly when I am on the tools, phone goes down. I'm not being disturbed.
It's easy for you to do that?
No. It's not. Silent is a great feature on the phone.
Mine's always on silent. Yeah. It's just I've done no notifications, always on silent.
Because you need to concentrate on stuff, and the more distractions you have, it's going to slow you down. You're going to forget what you're doing. So
some people want those distractions to make the day move faster, and I don't think it makes it move faster. It slows it down.
Slows the day down.
It totally does, right?
So I'm definitely not on the tools as much as I want to be on the tools. But that's kind of where we've got to. And that's why I keep pushing the timber side of things, because I can go and do things. It's there.
While other things are being...
Yeah. And then kind of jump back and forth, because I can, if I need to run to the site, it's like, okay, I can leave this here. When I get back, it's still going to be there. On a construction site, it's like being at home with your kids. If you leave that there, it's not going to be there in half hour when you get back to it. Yeah, someone's moved it, someone's put it somewhere else. Oh, it looks better over here.
It's magic.
That's the thing I like about having the workshop is I'm very kind of anal with the tools, where it's like, okay, this goes here, that goes there. So I need something, I turn around, and it's there. surprise, surprise, it's been put back where it belongs.
Yeah. Are guys still doing that? I remember back in my early days, a lot of cutouts of this is where this belongs. This is the tool that belongs here. And then you replace it here. Are they still doing that these days? Or is it just like a pack out kind of
pack outs on the job site?
Everything.
It takes over half the site.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's got that. I mean, I'm not sure if they've got that many tools or they're just keeping their lunch. And a lot of these things, like, you walk away and there's lunch and like snacks and everything else in there.
Someone's creating a pack out with their lunch in it, and actually that's pretty genius if you think about it. You can have different trays and compartments, and you could put like bread and cold cuts.
You have a shrimp ring.
Yeah. Someone's going to figure that out. I'm sure Milwaukee's working on that, where I start seeing coolers and all kinds.
Will be now.
It's just going to happen, right? I wanted to ask you about, I guess, the pros and cons of working in Toronto. Other than the traffic, right?
Okay, that's the key one.
And I think us as contractors, we know we're going to discover certain things, right? It's just inevitable it's going to happen.
Pros and cons. So, you talk about the traffic. It's also, trying to park space. It's a very congested city.
Yeah.
And it's tough to get around. That's why I've kept the renovation side just to the West End. Yeah,
it's a lot lighter.
Yeah, and there's places to park and there's more space in between the homes. And for me, logistically, I don't want to be driving around constantly.
No.
It makes us more efficient if everyone's somewhat close together. So Frank calls in sick. Okay, well, Frank can't make it today, so I'm going to take this person from here, put that person there, and they're not traveling from one site to another. One side town to another side town, or someone's missing a tool, or a tool breaks, or they send something out on WhatsApp. Listen, we need a small drywall patch. Does anyone have a 2x2 piece of drywall? So rather than driving off to it
and just move
store,
it.
Like, okay, we've got it here. It's in the garage around the corner. So but
that's problem solving at that point, right?
It is. One of the pros of working in the city, it's very diverse. You're going to meet a lot of people.
Yeah,
and
different flavors of what they want design-wise.
Different flavors for lunchtime. Yeah.
So that's the one positive thing I would say is that there is such a variety of different foods that you can enjoy.
Great people out there as well. It's a busy city. It's a city that's falling apart. Well, the homes are falling apart, so there's a lot of work out there. What are the pros? What are the cons? I don't know.
I've got my share. It's just you're probably on the same page. It makes a lot of sense. It's just how it is, and I think that when you go and quote a job, especially in the core, just make sure you're covering all your bases. Like you're just looking at all the ups and downs attached to that job and see what the cost factor is attached to that. Because you're going to get
stress levels.
Stress as well, mental as well, everything. So you're going to get tags. You're going to get parking tags. It's just inevitable. It's going to happen. It's almost like a game between you and the parking person. It's just like you're trying to go in there. Don't ever think that you're going to park for 2 seconds and just go in and drop off a tool or drop off.
See what I'm doing.
And all of a sudden you're getting tagged. Like they're really efficient nowadays with their digital taggers, right? Where it gets printed out is faster than you getting your receipt from a store when you're purchasing something. That's how quick it is. So it's just
blood pressure's already going up just to
and there's no reason to get upset at them. They're doing their job. You're trying to do your job, but when you're quoting,
they can
use
jobs, some grey matter and see what's happening there.
Of course, right?
Is it a danger? Are you in front of a fire hydrant? Is there actually a fire happening at that time? Or are you just unloading your tools so you can go and park around the corner?
Yeah. I've met my fair share of good people that are doing that job, and they've been very respectful, and they understand. They get it, right? But
so with any kind of job out there, there's going to be the good ones, there's going to be the bad ones, without a doubt. Yeah.
It's just how it is. That's just construction in Toronto, right? But
But that's definitely one of the big cons. Yeah. And just the stress of it. You're trying to unload your truck.
Exactly,
you're
right?
Only earning so much a day. That's to feed your family, not theirs. No, they don't need it. Yeah.
How much you want to grow, Paul? Like, are you already, I guess with Tessa and everybody else in the team, are you already starting to plan what 2025 is going to start to look like for you guys? Like,
there's a lot of cool things happening early 2024, which I'm really looking forward to.
Interesting projects or just new ideas?
Both,
okay.
Both, without a doubt. To really have the two divisions going and be able to kind of train people on both aspects. Next thing I'm looking for is a business manager who can deal with half that crap that I don't want to deal with. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing with growth as well, is that you get to a stage where, no, I don't need to do that anymore. It's like we were talking about driving through the city. I had to go and pick up, restoring these tables and chairs the other day. Okay. A normal project for us, but it's kind of a nice little gap fill in between.
A client asks you, can you handle this kind of thing? Yeah.
Yeah, and of course we've done lots of staining when it comes to the the big wood.
You're
and
still
everything
doing
like that.
woodworking, and timber framing is woodworking, in my opinion.
Oh, without a doubt,
100%, right? So
it's a very kind of technical kind of woodworking. But
yes,
it's like, okay, I don't want to be stuck in the truck going all the way there and all the way back. I can't do anything. I can't make phone calls. Well, you can make phone calls, but you can't take notes. You can't send texts, send emails, etc., etc.
no, and you don't want to be distracted.
Greg, there's the key. You're going. I'm getting some work done.
Exactly.
I said, okay, great that I can do it now. I mean, earlier this year, I had to get one of the crew members to be a chauffeur for the day. So I had to go to lots of job sites, but I had to get things done at the same time. So they're there driving one of the trucks.
It's efficient.
And I'm just making... So I had to go to these places, but I had to get other things done. So as we grow, I want to do more of what I want to do, the fun side of the business, and have someone else deal with the paperwork side.
What is the fun side of the business for you?
Making sawdust.
Just making sawdust. Just coming up with interesting little projects.
Yeah, and just like stepping away from something like, wow, that's good. That's going to last. That looks good. It's going to last. Yeah.
If you work in the trades, maybe you're a plumber, a framer, or an electrician, you need to check out Black Ladder Workwear. Their work clothes are tough, functional, and durable, much like you might find in high-end outdoor gear, but it's designed specifically for work in the trades. They put a ton of intentional thought into their products, everything from knee pad inserts, zip-off utility pockets, and reinforced inseams. They've got it all. Visit blackladder.ca/en/TCL to learn more and take 15% off your order by using code TCL at the checkout. Whose idea was the, I saw the cedar steps, the block steps on the side of the house, or the side of the porch there was, where you actually did block steps out of cedar and worked its way down.
Right, yeah.
Right on, basically along the grade, right?
Yeah.
Like, was that the homeowner, designer, yourself?
I think that the homeowner came up with something that she had seen, and it's like, okay, well, is those kind of classic Instagram or house or Pinterest?
Yeah.
Oh, can you make it look just like that? It's like, listen, you're not down in California. You can't just walk out onto this.
We're dealing with Mother Nature, and grade is one thing, and wood is another thing.
So I think between us, we kind of came up with this concept of how it was going to be done. I think there's some trial and error as the guys were pouring the concrete to offer support. It's like, okay, you've got all these different blocks, and how does it kind of connect and support each other? They're the ones I like, those technical ones where you have to figure stuff out.
Not only were you stepping down one way, you were stepping down right angle to the other way.
So you're coming off the porch, and then you could either head north or head south.
Exactly. Which is really,
backyard,
it was smart about that. And then it got me thinking about how I know that a lot of concrete guys will do the floating slabs where it's the steps.
Right.
And so they have that gap in between. And it got me thinking, why can't you just do that with wood as well, too? If there's a way to do it to make it look like each of these pads, these steps are floating but in wood. Yeah. Because, I mean, the concrete one looks good, but, I mean, someone should try to do it in wood.
I guess, with that, you have to have that thickness of wood.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of 2x6 substructure built and then kind of clad with a cedar. But if you were to get, I don't know, let's go back to Douglas firs or something, because I can get that in 4-inch, 6-inch, 8-inch. I mean.
Yeah. Which actually is a good wood to do that. And then what were you doing? Putting piles, or you were putting posts in each section to secure it?
Sonotubes.
Sonotubes. So you're doing that, and then, but you technically, I guess, you had to put 4 for each. Well, you were
because you'd have 2 for the front of one.
Yes.
And then the back would connect on
for the other,
to the front, which is now connected to those 2.
There's a little bit of engineering going on there,
without
like
doubt.
to connect all this stuff together.
Solving.
Yeah, it wasn't as simple as just we're stepping down.
Always need this, yeah.
But it's actually, what's nice about it is that it makes you want to casually, just comfortably walk where you need to walk, where it's almost like you could just instinctively walk. You don't have to plan it, right?
Yeah, well, some of these things, it can be trial and error. Yeah, we come across a lot of projects where we haven't done it before, or it hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, how are we going to make this work? Sure, we've done something very, very similar on another project, but it's now up to you to problem solve, to come up with a solution to make this work.
And you guys are messing around with a lot of, you got to let me know about where you guys found that white oak half-round strips.
Yeah, I think there's a tag on there.
Okay.
That was an interesting product. I think it came out from the States.
Is it from the States? Yeah, because you could either use it on a flat or you can actually use it on a curve.
Curve it around the kitchen.
Because of the shape of the wood, yeah. But it actually gives it a really nice look.
It's a really nice kind of texture to it, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And it's kind of on a backing, so you're not doing each individual strip. It's like you kind of bend
you were here with wood glue, like floor wood glue.
Yeah.
Which made a lot of sense.
Stick it to the wall to make a kind of what's it called? The headboard.
Yeah.
Back of someone's bed.
It was nice. It turned out great.
Yeah, that was a really great project. In fact, as we speak now, final building inspection's happening over there. So.
Oh, is it okay? Yeah, it's that recent, huh?
Yeah.
I like it when you get inspectors on the site and you've had a chance and an opportunity to build something interesting, visually, right, interesting.
Sure.
And then you get an inspector walk on the site, and they forget for a second why they're there. Like they have to be professional and be that person, right?
Yeah,
where there's
they're amazed.
but then they stop for a second and appreciate the quality of the craftsmanship that was done here, and they look at the details and are going, "That's actually pretty nice."
And the nice thing is, we've been in business now 15 years. That building inspectors have been to our sites before. They know our standards, and they kind of come through. And sometimes, they're still doing their job. They're still inspecting, but other conversations break out.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's good because you need that kind of working relationship.
Like you're a human being.
Yeah, everyone's on the same page here. But it's nice sometimes if you come across an issue to be able to reach out to them and say, listen, we've come across this. I don't need an inspection. I just need you to come by and just let's say some of these older homes, head height issues or space in the hallway. It's like, okay, well, if I move this wall to here, then we don't have a bedroom. If I bring this thing up to code, and kind of working through those problems again to come up with a product that's going to suit everyone.
I wish more architects would understand the opportunity of making walls a little thicker to benefit opportunities for trades on site, like the mechanical walls. Like I've never been. I know code is you can have a wet wall between two bathrooms, and code is still 2x4. I never understood that. I've always made it 2x6 minimum because you know how much stuff is going to be drilled out of there.
Through there, you got things going through. You got elbows.
All kinds of stuff. So why do you want to weaken that wall? So just make it. I've made them in projects 2x6, 2x8, because I just knew that they needed that freedom to run all these things, right? And
like your ducting, for example.
And what are you really sacrificing at that point when you're trying to make everything as efficiently run as possible, right?
Yeah, that's one of the beauties of again going back to those pre-construction days when we're looking at these things. Like, okay, if you go put this here, well, why have you located this here?
Yeah.
You locate this somewhere else?
Yeah.
We've seen plumbing on the exterior walls, which is a big no-no, certainly up in this climate.
I've always fought that, but I mean, in the climate, and then you can use a product like spray foam and you can actually pull that off. It has to be done a certain way.
Sure.
But again, if it's the wall, you fatten up the wall. But nowadays, with our code, you're 2x6 exterior walls anyway. So we've got that space. So we can get the R that we need to get, but we can still run the plumbing that we need to get. So I've never liked, toilet supply lines coming out of the floor. I never understood that. I always wanted to come out of the wall, and I didn't care.
And make sure it's high enough so the baseboard can still go.
Well, I always read the instructions of whatever toilet the client wants, and that manufacturer, if they're a good enough manufacturer, they tell you where the crosshairs are for that supply. So then you park it right there. I know that electricians will grab their tube or their hammer. This is the height of a receptacle box. They'll do that. I know that plumbers will no, this is the height of a supply line. I go, no. Toilets nowadays are being a little more finicky, and they have recommendations.
Makes,
Exactly, right? So especially skirted ones, like hiding certain things, you have to park it in a certain spot. So if you got to make it work that way, right? Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff. I know that you also offer consulting as well, right?
Yeah.
Are you seeing an uptick with clients? I always said clients it's in their best interest to talk about this rental, right? So absorb that consulting fee, not just from the designer or the architect or social media expert. Speak to the trade, speak to the GC and consulting, and have a conversation with that person about opportunities on this project and what we can do and what we can bring to the table before you even set up on site, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of that pre-qualifying items like, hey, are you actually serious about this project? Because $150 for like an hour consultation and the write-up isn't a lot of money.
It's nothing.
No. You're driving there, you're spending the time there, you're doing a walkthrough with them, you're getting back to them with good advice. And we've had some people like really kind of push back against that. No, I'm not doing that. No, I've had 13 other people come out and do it for free. Like, I mean, you're probably not the person I want to work for then.
Yeah.
And others like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And I'd say the majority of jobs that we've kind of done that on, we've got on to take that job on and work
because they've seen the value.
Yeah. Or they're like, you know what? You've come out and given me some real numbers based on previous items.
Yeah.
We can't afford to do this just yet. But, I go out and kind of talk with people about what they want to do. Some people have some great visions, and I'm not an endless wealth of knowledge, but I know enough about some things where it's like, you're probably not going to be able to do that. You're probably not going to be able to do that. You have to kind of change your your plans on some things here.
But on the side of the clients, I mean, if the client were to interview 3 different GCs and pay $150 fee to do this interview and have an honest conversation about their project, realistic apples and apples conversation, it's only going to benefit them.
Well, that's $450 they spent.
It's nothing.
And they're going to save that straight away. Yeah. That's not even a trade for a day.
Yeah. So it's like your project will move a lot faster at that point. I think the problem is that the industry has created a culture of you can get a lot of things done for free in construction.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, you can.
Oh, come over here, give me a price. What details do you have for me? Oh, I don't. I just want you to tell me how much it's going to cost now.
I'll give you a ballpark.
Based on what? Based on what?
Yeah, but you're not even building a ballpark.
Yeah.
It's just I don't understand why you're accepting this number. You don't know anything about this person or the team, the work that they bring in, the quality.
Well, I think you've seen our onboarding process. The first thing we want to do is figure out who this client is, and there's some key things you can kind of pick up in a telephone conversation. Even better with a Zoom call. And one of the beauties about it.
You want to see.
Yeah. I want to see that.
Body language, reaction to certain key words.
Yeah.
It's important.
So rather than driving that hour across town to meet with someone for an hour and then come back, it's like, if you can do a Zoom call, you can figure out a lot of things out from there and save yourself time.
You'll figure it out on both sides.
This is true. So before you've even gone out and met with them, it's always important to have that. A lot of people just email.
Yeah.
No one wants to make a call anymore.
It's a disconnect.
Yeah. I want to be able to speak to the person. There's a lot of things you can, like you say, pick up in their voice or keywords that they're saying where it's like, I've seen some red flags here. Yeah.
What makes for a good client for you? Like, what do you like to see from a client, a future client of yours?
You go to that initial interview and there's a tea and a coffee. Honestly.
Yeah.
I remember it was a job years ago.
Just a little thing, eh?
It is. It's being on the same page. Obviously, you want to work with someone you could be on the same page with. That it's a relationship at the end of the day. You need to be on the same page. We've taken on jobs in the past where it's like, okay, these people seem like a pain in the butt, but we need to work. And of course, they haven't gone.
They've gone that route.
What I'd like to see in a client, just when they're asking questions about whatever subject, and you give an answer, they may come back with another question. But not, oh, no, I read on the internet, this is this and this is this. Like, okay. Or the classics, like, we've done plenty of renovations before, and it was like this. Like, so why are you not calling them back?
Yeah. There's a reason why you're not calling them back, right? Goes back to the references. Can you give me their numbers?
Yeah. Let me speak to them and go from there. I could probably do this all myself. The foundation, the framing, the electrical. You can do it all yourself. So why did you call me then?
I had a GC last night to send me a text of a picture of a bathroom that was just a horror show. And the clients reached out to him to take it over because they started the project and they used online resources to do this project. And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It was just, the tub was in there already. It was already working. It was a wall-mounted faucet. And part of the walls were not even finished drywall. The ceiling wasn't even finished drywall. There was no tile up yet. And they wanted this GC to take it over. And they wanted it done by Christmas. And just to let everybody know, what are we, like 3 weeks away from Christmas? Less than 3 weeks away from Christmas, right?
Sure,
so
no
it's
problem.
like, I responded back to the GC. I said, get HGTV to finish it for them. And just like,
because they can do it in a week at half the price.
If they've learned it from online, get them to finish it at that point. You don't need a professional at that point.
You never do.
No, we're way underqualified, I guess.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Has to be done by this day. Has to be done by this day. I was like, why is that?
I want to ask you, there was that one job, I think it was in Hyde Park, the vertical strips, the cladding on the outside. Vertical strips, where you actually were, and this is beautiful, by the way, if anybody gets to take a look at it, you started the vertical strips on the second story, you mitered it underneath to create the soffit of it, and then you continue that same vertical strip on the face of the main story. And I was like going...
A couple come to mind, because we've done a few like that.
It's a backyard. It's a back.
So the addition.
It was an addition.
Is it a square box or is it kind of that kind?
It was a square box. There's two in question here because there was one that had the shakes.
One so it had the board.
Yeah, and then had the hard. Yeah. So then, the vertical strip, the thin vertical strips that you had, those were all wood. Those were not composite, were they?
I think that's
okay.
The project is getting closed up today. That was composite.
That was composite. Huh? Yeah. So that was that pattern of composite where it's maybe 3 or 4 strips in each.
It's probably about 6 inches wide with that.
Yeah. So that looked like composite, huh?
That was composite. Yeah.
Wow, because it looked pretty good like a wood.
Yeah, I think that's just the editing on the photo.
Okay,
It
all
looked
right.
like wood.
It looked like wood to me, but I was very impressed that the miters continued from the vertical to the horizontal to
Well,
the
you
vertical
do
again.
have there are joining strips.
Yeah.
There's corners, inside, exterior, and interior. How do we do that? Yeah, we just took the time. And the guys do take their time to get things right. 'Cause I'm very anal about that.
Of
It's like,
course.
this needs to be right. This is our name on here. I want it to be right. There's been times where stuff has been installed and I haven't been happy, and it's like, okay, it's coming out, it's going back in again. Yeah.
It always boggled my mind when you had such details like that being built, and you lost an opportunity where you had someone that was too lazy and they didn't want to keep it consistent and have a full piece at the very end as much as the full piece in the beginning. So you create a sliver at the end when all you really had to do was just fatten up the strips on that wall to make it.
Beginning with that one, what we did was we took one of those boards and cut it down into little pieces, and we laid it out across. Like, okay, we're going to cut this one.
Exact same thing.
And with decks sometimes. Like, okay,
I know.
Yeah, you want that little strip at the end. Like,
You don't want it.
We've got the 5.5 inches, and then we're doing the invisible fasteners, which is about 3/16. We're literally screw it all the way down, and sometimes, you know what, we're just going to put another 2x6 on the end here, so it wraps, and I think it just looks good. Take a little pride in your work.
It looks very custom.
It takes a little longer, but
yeah, but it's beneficial.
well, the benefits is it's going to look great for a long, long time, rather than every time they step up, you're like, weird. That
Why is there?
Why do they do it like that? Why didn't they?
Why just start like? I've done that with tile. I've done it with mosaics. I've done like you just want to plan it all out and just get full pieces, right?
Well, I was showing the guys the other day on the job site about the jig. They got the trend jig for doing the doors.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you don't want to jump on those $300 doors and start routering these things out. Grab a 2x4, okay? You know, it's going to be 6 inches down, 9 inches up with the hinges, one in the middle. Test it on this, and you get your depth. Because if you start on that door and ruin that door, well,
That's one door now.
yeah, thanks.
And now you either got to order that door, and if there's lead time on it, or you have to try to repair it, which you don't want to.
No, it never looks good.
A patch, it never works. I don't care how genius of a trim person you are. You want to slice. You're going to see a line.
Yeah.
You totally see the line, right? Do you have a favorite species of wood that you like working with? Cedar,
Douglas fir or cedar. Yeah.
Fir's getting expensive these days, no?
It is, but again, people want it.
But we have an abundance of it in this country, so why is it getting expensive?
Transport costs, I guess.
From out west.
Yeah. You're over this way. You got plenty out that way. Maybe transport, maybe it's the demand. Oh, yeah, we can charge. Everyone wants this. We can charge a little bit more for it.
It's funny how aren't most of the Toronto homes the older ones? They were all
Douglas fir, yeah.
firm, like they were all framed with Douglas fir.
When those studs come out, the joists come out, I try and save those for little
I
side
never
projects.
throw them out. I've got a stack. I just keep them. I'm like, this is
know
going to
what
get
you're gonna
used
do
one
with
day.
them. Yeah.
I know something's going to come up.
Yeah, they're all Douglas firs.
Plus, they were dead straight.
Yeah. And you look at the grain pattern on them as well.
Tight.
They're not forested like that.
No.
You look at the new stuff now and you must put your fingers in between like
It's
some of the gaps.
well, because it's just profit.
Exactly.
That's all it
Get
is.
it out
is
quickly.
Profit, right? Get it done. Get it grown. Get it harvest. Get it onto the site, and it's just hockey stick after hockey stick,
Exactly.
and then you got a
Banana
subdivision.
tree.
No, it's just bad at that. I wanted to ask you about. You had the opportunity. I've never done this before, but you did a job with warm board.
Yes.
Did you enjoy it? I'm not a fan. That's the only
Okay.
reason.
It made sense for that
For that
project
job?
there because the other way to have done it was you have your subfloor down, then you can nail down the boards and put concrete down there.
Yeah.
Not concrete. What's the
The
substance they put on top? But we wouldn't have been able to ship it. Typical Toronto home is very thin in between the houses, so we wouldn't be able to get a pump truck to be able to get that to come back. So
to get it in there.
I don't think we could even get the cement mixer down back to kind of
So
do
that
ourselves.
was the
It was a
reason why,
big
huh?
square footage that
Yeah.
it would have taken a lot longer, been more expensive that way. And you think that wasn't the home. There was one home in Toronto, not too far, Hyde Park area again. But there's not much space in between the homes. And we had this new labourer start. And he was green as green could be. During the pandemic when you couldn't find anyone. I was like, listen, take all these bricks, put them in the barrow, bring them to the back of the house and empty them in the bin. And he comes by and he's like, I got the wheelbarrow stuck in it. I'm just thinking it's stuck in the mud. No, he's got it stuck in between the two homes because it's like 3 foot on one side and it goes down to like 2 foot the other side. And he must have been going down at some pace because he had it wedged. Like we had to take the bricks out, like yanking this thing back. But
wow.
yeah, I think with that one, we had to go with it. And I think the architect expect it as well.
Okay.
It just seemed like a smart product to use.
It's an expensive product, and it's a
It
very
was expensive.
customized product too, right?
Yeah.
You got to send them drawings. They're going to do the layout. If there's lots of turns, But you still have to be conscious. I know that they talk about you can actually nail your finished floor right on top of it, but you still got to be conscious of it.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. You're still very close to those pipes.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we did glue as well.
Did you do glue it down
I
on
think
at
so,
that
yeah.
point? Yeah.
We nailed where we could and put glue everywhere else. Yeah.
And I'm not sold on. I know America uses a lot of it, but I don't know. It was nice
Yeah,
to
because
see
we had
it
to bring
here.
it up from the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit pricey. That's the only thing. But you're right, though, about the cement. It would have been challenging to get that done that way.
That's it, and the logistics of a project can really dictate the cost.
Because they're there for pretty much better part of a day if they wanted to bring a cement truck.
Oh, yeah.
Plus the space, and you need an actual cement truck, plus the hopper, plus the
And get it
hoses.
back.
Yeah. And you're just running
There's no
the
laneway
hoses.
access. So, yeah, I was seeing some clients not too long ago, and they didn't have any parking. It's like, this is going to make the job more expensive. Like, why? I went into it, kind of explain these things that when stuff gets dropped off, we can't just leave it on the front yard.
No.
We now have to bring it inside. Let's go slow
I
things
think
down
there's
inside.
a fine. Isn't there a fine if you leave material obstructing pathways?
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
I'm just...
There's a fine for everything.
Yeah, I think there's a
Yeah.
fine. You can't even park a bin on the street without
getting a permit, yeah.
And you'll get a fine for that bin, right? So it's just like, it's not worth it sometimes at that point.
Yeah, there's a fine for everything you do, I find now.
This show is brought to you by Payne's Window Manufacturing. Window shopping revolutionized. Seeking top-tier windows? Look no further. Payne's Window Manufacturing is the ultimate choice for custom builders, contractors, and homeowners. Visit www.paynes.com now to experience the pinnacle of quality and customization. Get your instant custom quote today. Elevate excellence with us, plus enjoy nationwide shipping across Canada and the U.S.
Yeah.
You still a fan of the classic Toronto step bevel base trim? Do you like it? Have you always liked it?
I don't have a problem with it.
No? Everybody
no.
asks for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to install whatever I'm told sometimes when it comes to that. I like it when you get the details where you really have to describe it so it joins together. As long as it's not MDF.
Yeah, I can't
do
stand
MDF.
MDF. no.
But most of the time it's going to be a paint grade poplar that we're installing. Really haven't given it much thought, to be honest.
Okay.
That's the trim.
That's what it's
going.
trimmed. That's what they've
Yeah.
spec'd out. Are you getting anybody on your crew doing any jack miters with the step bevel? Because that's what we
Yeah,
rip
but I
apart
mean,
from the older homes. That's how they used to
exactly.
do it, and they didn't have all the power tools that we have
We've
today.
done it on quite a few jobs, and again, it's like, okay, do you want to do your 45? Do you want to do this step bevel? We've done quite a few of them, especially in the older, especially where you're using something that's going to be stained rather than painted.
Yes.
Then you want to do it then.
Yes.
There's been a few of those. We've done projects where we've kind of taken out the old kind of gumwood, restored it, and then reinstalled that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
Well, it was actually the homeowner who
Insisted?
this is what they wanted. Classic kind of old mill home where it's nice dark wood, and I think he had salvaged. This was a great character, one of my favourite characters and customers of the year. This family, and you see renovation projects happening in different neighbourhoods, and go and get the gumwood and take it back, and he wanted to kind of restore his house to the natural beauty with this stuff. And sure enough, Bruce had gone out and found all these different lengths, and we made it work. It was
Just
great.
from the neighborhood? Like,
Just in the neighborhood when he saw renovations happening.
and he
Listen,
would be
I
there?
want that baseboard. I need that piece of
Oh,
casing.
wow. Man. Well, it saves that GC, that project.
Well, it's not going in the bin. It's not going to waste.
Exactly.
I don't think the boss of the house there was all too impressed by Bruce's gumwood collection down in the basement. I think she was happy when we came by to do the job and use it all up.
But I mean, I love that he was doing that.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
It does. I mean, if you can certainly reuse a lot of items. I mean, in one of the garages that we have these storage lockers where we keep a lot of the equipment, whether it's scaffolding. I can't remember how many doors I've got that I've salvaged from going in, and at the old 1910 homes that you see in Hyde Park Old Mill, like gorgeous doors with glass.
No
like the
reason to
handles,
throw it
like-
out. No reason whatsoever to throw it out.
Same as the Douglas fir studs. And
Yeah,
I'm
I've
holding
done
on to
that
these things.
before, where you take the old doors,
Yeah.
and then you put them into a new frame, so
Yeah,
then it's
it
sealed
can be a
properly.
pain sometimes.
Yeah, it's a huge pain.
If things aren't, house is shifted, someone's coming like
It's a
sanded some off
huge
here, planed
pain.
down here.
I know
it does look.
but
good.
it's kind of nice that you updated, and now there's no draft. You don't hear it. You don't feel the cold.
It's kind of like a
It
tip of the
is.
hat to the.
It
the way
totally
things
is,
were.
right? No, you got to be a little more respectful with that. I wanted to ask you about. I like that you actually spend the time and effort on building a nice classic kind of nicely designed fence gate.
Which one was that?
There was
done
one
a
that you
lot.
did where it was cedar and it was horizontal boards, and they had the key lock on it.
Right, yeah.
And it was just a return on the side of the hinge. And was that a hard sell for the client? Because I've done that sell so many times.
That's what she wanted.
And okay, so
that's what she asked for. So that's what
she didn't want to talk to you about the classic board stepped.
No, she had a design in mind.
All that crap that I can't stand. Right. So she had something in mind.
This is what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
She knew what she wanted, and it's like, okay.
How did she present it to you? She just verbally, or she drew a sketch or something?
I think she had a couple of classic Instagram and Pinterest posts and sketch.
And that was it.
Together. Like,
and obviously, I mean,
if you give me the inspiration, I can build it.
Of course,
I can figure out the other things.
She probably saw the finished product and she was like, "That's exactly what I was." I actually probably thought that was better than exactly what I wanted.
It turned out well. I think
it turned out great.
A deck, a pergola, and her fence there.
Oh, so that was all combined in the same job?
Oh yeah. A lot of cedar at a time when you couldn't find the cedar.
It was challenging at that point. Yeah. Are you getting clients coming back at you and asking about maintenance coming back in the year, or they want the cedar just the weather?
Not really. I mean, we've had a couple of clients who will come and saw it. We did a neighbour's deck not too long ago.
Okay.
The next year they had it stained right away. Our painter KP was there staining it. The next year he was back. Like, what are you doing back? What's the problem? He's like, there's nothing wrong with this. They just want it done each year. Like, you don't need to do it each year, but it's what they wanted. I think some like it to go grey, some want to maintain that orange and reddish look.
I mean, you can maintain it if you do it every single year, right? Clean it up a little bit, scuff it up.
I mean, mine, I kind of wish I did. I mean, I built it out of cedar and it looks great. It's now gone grey now, but the problem was, because I was doing landscaping at the time in the backyard, the kids were running through the mud, running up onto the deck, and it kind of got ingrained in there, so I had to take the power washer out and clean it down that way, stiff brush, but...
Did it bring back? It brought back some of the color.
It does.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, certainly when you look at the posts and the handrails, it cleans up pretty good. But of course, with the foot traffic and everything else, stuff can get ingrained in there.
That must have been a lot of work for you too during the pandemic years, because a lot of people wanted to get outside, and so you were doing, I guess, deck extensions and pergolas and all kinds of little spaces.
Yeah, I mean, I signed up a load of decks and porches. Like, okay, you know what? We're not going to be working in people's homes. We're just going to do outside work. It's going to be fine. And we had loads of projects lined up. Couldn't find the materials. I had all these projects that I could have done.
Yeah, it was pain.
We can't do them.
You went, like, how many suppliers did you, like, just nobody had?
Oh, I went all the way up north to a place in Cobalt, to the Home Hardware there, or whatever building supplier it was, and everywhere from down in Hamilton, London. I was just like desperate to try and find this wood.
I knew there was a couple of guys, they were selling raw. Like raw cedar stock, right? So you can get that, but then you wouldn't be able to use it for a finishing deck, right?
Right, which you have to mill it yourself.
Exactly, and then that just became a whole other world.
There's nowhere in the city you have like a wood miser mill, just like take it.
And you're not going to be running those boards through a 13-inch planer or whatever, and then trying to figure out if you can make them nice and clean for the client. That would just be a nightmare at that point.
We did have something like that. We had to run around and get stuff from different suppliers. The thickness of some fence boards or deck boards were different. It was the fence boards. We got some from, let's say, Downtown Lumber and some from Lakeshore Lumber, and there was a different thickness. So we started putting those things on the fence, like, hold on, something's not matching up here. So we had to go get the 12-inch planer, and we had that on site, just running these boards through.
Really, yeah?
So they'd all be consistent, yeah.
Is the whole crew, are they all DeWalt? No, it's a mixed match. So you guys are...
It is now. What I've found is with everyone kind of going cordless,
yeah,
it's like selling your soul to the devil. It's like you make that choice and you have to stick with it now, you know? Whereas at least with the corded tools, you can pick and choose. I've got everything from Makita, DeWalt. The majority of my stuff is Makita.
Yep.
There's a few guys on site who have I think the majority is Makita, and I'm always on to them, but okay, you got to label your stuff. Everyone's got the same battery. Everyone's got the same drill.
That's why I have an engraver.
Yeah,
I just bought the engraver. I didn't care anymore. I just started engraving it. So it was always a nice trip when
Christmas gifts coming up. Okay, well, on the wish list. Yeah,
that's what it was. But then I'd like working with certain guys, and I see them use their tools, and then I'd look at their batteries or something, and I'm like, those are my initials. Why are they on your battery?
Yeah.
And they would just give you that look like, yeah, I accidentally picked it up on the last job or something like that. Sure, okay, I get it.
And seeing you in 6 months, buddy, you didn't think to call me in the meantime? You got my number, right?
Didn't even make the effort to change the letters, try to make it a different...
I'll put one at the beginning or at the end, yeah.
We're getting close to wrapping up, but I do want to ask you one last question about... this is just something that came up recently about... There's a lot of associations coming up in construction.
Yeah.
A lot of associations. And I just find that there's a lot of abuse with these associations regarding monetary reasons, where they're not delivering what they should be delivering. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. It's just, I know that the industry, it's good to have a partnership with associations to
Sure.
build your credibility as a business, right? But I just find it that once they kind of get you on board and you're a member of their association, they kind of fall to the wayside, and all of a sudden they're not really there to support you anymore. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing?
We are not a part of too many associations. I
Okay.
think we've got the two big ones.
Yeah.
Certainly for the GTA, Build and Renomark.
Yeah.
What I liked about those guys was you had to be nominated by someone else to join,
To get-
and then they wanted to see that you were licensed, that you were insured,
Yeah.
that you were the real deal.
Yeah.
And I think for a customer, and they do promote this, that the trades they have within their association are the real deal. So you can go to their website and find a qualified tradesperson, and there's a little bit more trust and faith from the customer that way that they're finding someone. They go on to do networking events, seminars. I'm going to it's going to be a rocking day out tomorrow, a heat pump seminar.
I don't think my eyes would survive
maybe a lot of
that.
coffee tomorrow.
I don't
Yeah.
think my eyes would survive
But
that.
then,
I would just be rolling around.
These guys, the Timber Framers Guild,
Okay.
send out a lot of kind of information. They have a lot of networking events. They have a lot of volunteer projects happening most of the times down in the States. There's that one in BC, but updated magazines. You can go to their website, and there's a lot of kind of documents on there, contracts. And it's useful. I mean, some of these, they're the only ones I've stuck to, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I've got those badges on the side of the truck. I don't need to look like a tattoo truck. I mean, I want to keep it
you
clean.
don't.
It's like,
I find
don't
that
know what the other ones are going to bring to me. I don't even know who they are. So if I don't know who you are, then am I going to give you some money to?
it's just a
represent us?
numbers game. I look at it like, in Canada here, there's 1.4 or 5 million people that work in construction.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they get 10% of those people to join their organization, that's a good chunk of change for their organization.
Right.
But I find that their primary purpose is sales and not assistance. That's the problem I have. Once they start losing the assistance part and start focusing on just the monetary side of it, you lose me
I
as
hear
an
you.
individual, right? So you have to, like us,
As a business, I want to be able to turn to them and say, listen,
you
I've
have to
come
bring
across
value
this
to your
problem.
clients,
Like,
right? So
yeah.
the skills that you bring on their site and the people that you work with and the people that you invite on your job site, and you proudly put your sign and your logo and everything on there, and that's a representative of the English Carpenter. You're just like, I bring value to this client. So they're paying me to bring this value. So it's the same thing with the associations. You guys need to bring value to my business. If you're not, and you're just expecting a renewal every single year, you're losing my interest at that point.
Yeah. We haven't come across that. I say the couple of associations
Good.
that we're a part of. I'm happy to be a part of. I take part in their events and go from there. I don't think we need to be a part of anymore. I don't even know what the other ones are right now. To be
Who's
honest.
put on the heat pump one?
That's Build.
Bill's putting on that one. No, but which brand is putting on the heat pump one?
I'll find out tomorrow when I get there.
You're going to see
yeah.
it. You'll see it right away.
Oh, yeah. Sell. But I mean, I don't know enough about heat pumps, so I want to learn about these things. I'm always interested to learn.
I know a thing or two. I know that in Canada, they make no sense. I'm sorry to say.
Okay.
I don't agree with them.
You've
They
just
don't
saved me 3 hours.
I'm just saying they don't make sense because it's kind of like on-demand water systems. I've never been a fan. I've always been a hot water tank person,
Right.
just because of the networking I've done with certain brands when it comes to plumbing and stuff. When a client asks for a specific bathtub and they want specific amount of gallons in that thing, a good brand will actually tell you how much water you need to sustain that tub.
Makes sense, yeah.
Which there's no boiler on-demand system that will sustain that bathtub. If that bathtub is getting up to 80, 90, 110, or even 120 gallons of hot water, and we know what the 2/3 ratio is of hot water to cold water into there, but we also know when a person is sitting in that bathtub for a certain amount of time, how quickly that water temperature drops. So these are all things that you start learning about. Yeah. And so you're like, okay, on demand makes no sense. I need a hot water tank here. And now you get clients that you start talking about 50, 60, and then you get into commercials. And this is a whole other, this is what you start to learn, right? But heat pumps, they don't survive past a certain temperature. They can't sustain. They become a secondary heat source. So in my opinion, they're not saving the planet. That's just me. So then you could be whatever sales rep and whatever brand. I go, your argument against a forced air system, but let alone, and I agree with you on some posts that you've shared, I'm a boiler guy. I will always choose radiant over forced air. And the number one thing I tell clients is that your children will never have any breathing problems. They will not have nosebleeds. They will not be coughing all the time if you have a boiler system. That's just a fact. So it's just, if you want that opportunity where your family's feeling healthy in your home that you spend so much time sleeping, you want to go down the road. Hydronic. It's simple as that. Right, so that's my little PSA at that point.
Okay, I think you saved me 3 hours.
You can go and let me know.
Sleep in tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Paul, let me know how it works out. So I got to do the 10 questions with you. Paul at theenglishcarpenter.com, www.theenglishcarpenter.com, and also theenglishcarpenter.ca for the timber frame side. Phone number to reach them. You always hiring, or you always looking for projects? Always. So 647-269-3140. On IG, it's the_English_Carpenter. Find them on YouTube as well, and then I'll get you a copy of this show so you can throw it up there as well.
Thank you.
And share it. Okay, you ready for these 10 questions?
Fire away.
What everyday sound brings you joy and comfort?
I'd say laughter, genuine laughter. Whether it's the kids, whether it's people on site. I like being happy. I think we all do. And hearing laughter and jokes.
I miss the jokes.
Yeah, there's a lot of banter on the job site. It's great.
Yeah, but it's fun banter.
It is.
Yeah.
Gets you through the day.
It does, right? And it's okay to disagree with somebody.
Always. I disagree with that.
What is your favorite beverage?
Oh, it's got to be beer.
Any particular one?
It's seasonal.
Okay.
Yeah, I start the day, first thing is a glass of water, then some lemon tea, then onto coffee. Coffee probably fades away about 11, then it's water. Then in the evening, a beer for sure.
A beer.
Maybe finish off with a scotch, but I mean, in the summertime, a Pilsner. This time of year, something more stouty, I'm not going to be drinking Guinness in the summertime. I'm not going to go to a patio in the summertime where it's like 35 degrees. I'm Guinness, please. No, I need something. I need a cold cider, actually. Yeah,
I could do that. I could totally enjoy a Guinness in the summertime. I find it very.
In an English or Irish summertime, maybe not our summertime. It's hot.
No, I can handle it totally. It's actually very quenching.
A really
for me.
hot, thirst quenching drink. Yeah. This is definitely shows where I'm from. Cider in the summertime, a nice cold cider.
It makes sense. It totally makes sense. What's your least favorite tool?
Impact driver. These things drive me batty. I can't stand that sound.
So loud.
Yeah.
There's in today's technology, they can't figure out a way to reduce that sound.
Well, you don't always need an impact driver. That's the other thing. When I see people doing drywall with an impact driver, you don't need it.
No.
And it's just that constant.
It's true.
The impact driver.
What turns you on creatively?
Seeing kind of new techniques, things that haven't been kind of done before, where people really push the boundaries and try to figure those things out for yourself. Something new.
Are you seeing a lot of that in Canada? I see it outside of Canada.
I think you see it in Canada. I mean,
okay.
Just driving down from the city today, driving through, past Mississauga, you got these buildings which kind of twist all the way around.
Yeah, the Marilyn Monroe buildings, right? Yeah.
Is that what they nicknamed?
Is that
the real name?
Yeah, well, that's what they nicknamed them.
Okay.
Just because of the shape of them. They didn't nickname them Marilyn Monroe buildings, right?
Just interesting things like that where people are pushing the boundaries and then trying to think, okay, what can I take from that? How can I...
I'd love to see more of that.
Yeah.
Totally, instead of just square boxes.
Yeah, one of the last projects we did kind of inspired us because the roof picture, we built our new kind of timber frame sign in that style. It's like, okay, how am I going to figure this out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing neat stuff and trying to do it yourself.
What word or concept do you find overused these days?
I think the concept that we were talking about earlier is, just come out, you can do this for free. Hey, come, give me a free quote. Give me a free quote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly in this industry.
Yeah, we need to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Favorite curse word?
Fiddlesticks.
It's a good
It's
one.
not.
It's a good one.
It's the C word. The C word's the top trump of all words. Yeah.
It's the go-to if you're...
well, especially for most Brits, Aussies, Kiwis.
It's
used
just
a lot more
I know.
everywhere else than it is here.
Than here. Favorite vehicle in the entire world?
Bike.
Sorry?
Bike.
Bicycle or bike?
Bicycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Particular brand? I had a Bianchi back in the
Not
day.
really. I mean, I've got a few bikes. All for different things, whether it's mountain biking, riding through the city, gravel bike, but it's just the freedom you have on a bike and the exercise you're getting at the same time. There's a lot more freedom on a bike. Yeah, you're not getting as far as you are in a car, but if I need to go over there, you can just throw the bike over the fence and hop over as well.
It's totally enjoyable, yeah.
It is, yeah.
I'm old enough to be back in the day where you got brake clamps, right? Not disc brakes anymore.
Right, yeah.
Every bicycle now has got disc brakes, right?
I think a couple of the kids' bikes, but they are hand-me-downs.
Okay.
My bikes for sure, they're all discs.
They're all discs?
No, not the city bike. I call it the city bike because there's no quick release or anything else on there.
Okay.
So I can feel comfortable parking it somewhere, locking it up somewhere, and not coming back, and everything's been kind of ripped off. Yeah.
I know. That happens in the city.
Yeah, sadly.
What do you miss from your childhood, Paul?
Not paying taxes. Freedom. I grew up in a small kind of
Means the
Somerset
same
town.
thing.
Yeah,
Not paying taxes and freedom. Exactly.
I guess so. Yeah, I grew up in a small kind of countryside town where we'd be off on the bikes, and we'd be off exploring and kind of running around. It's a wonder if me and my friends are still alive. Some of the stuff that we would kind of do or get up to.
There's no way we'd survive that. I know.
Yeah,
Man.
fun risks being taken.
If you could master a skill outside of your own expertise, what would it be?
Flying. Yeah.
Pilot?
Being a pilot, we talked earlier about that.
Yeah, we did.
Helicopter
Totally.
pilot. That'd be a pretty cool one.
Yeah. That's very challenging.
I like a challenge.
It's very challenging. You can still do it.
Still time.
Totally do it. Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
How the hell did you get on the guest list? All your friends are downstairs.
Guest list. I love that. Thanks so much, Paul, for being on the
you.
show, man. Absolute pleasure having this conversation with you. And I know you're
Pleasure
a
to be
busy
here.
guy, right? So fitting it in. You're off to the job site now?
Got a project to see on the way back, and then off to the job sites, and then Wednesday's typically the admin day, so get those fingers ready and do some
And then
paperwork.
just figure out what the future is going to be for the business.
Yeah.
And growing.
Crystal
So
ball.
all the best to you, man. And,
Thank you.
And wish everybody on the site well. And the work's amazing. Everyone should check it out.
Thank you,
And then
thank you.
definitely reach out to you if you got another project coming up. I know the clients listen, so reach out to you and have a project and have, or at least have a conversation.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
I like to talk.
So that's it. That's it. Thanks.
Good stuff. Thank you.
We're out of here, Angelina.